because the way I felt about myself, the way I thought of myself was so almost self-deprecating in a way. And so that felt like people who knew me, who knew I call it perfect Patty syndrome, and I write about that in the book. You're one way in front of people, and you're put together, and you're the way you're supposed to be, and then on the inside, you're a hot flame of a mess. You're broken, you're crying all the time, you're depressed, you're all these things. And a lot of people never really knew that until, I started sharing my testimony. So those were the things. My mother and my father, and then people who knew me I felt like they would be shocked at some of the things that I wrote about. But I also was like, I have to share it because I can't write a book and not be completely real. You can't be, I've been singing and speaking and all this stuff since I was a teenager, but I was real to a point. I was real to a point where you saw what I wanted you to see. Because if you saw the real me, I didn't think you was going to like it. And so that was hard because I'm rebranding myself as me.
Wow, that's awesome. Do you think there's, I don't know why I'm going to ask this question because I already know. There are a lot of broken people right in church.
Oh, yeah.
Like you said, they're perfect and they want everybody to see how they are and boom, boom, boom. But when those doors are closed.
Well, like a Bishop Allman calls it a hospital. Church is a hospital.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah,
absolutely.
But yet we turn around, we still judge each
right.
other.
Man, that's,
we should be uplifting one another. You know what I'm saying?
We shouldn't be afraid to have struggles in church. That's not what the church is for. Like you said, a hospital is where you go and get what you need so you can heal. And one of the examples that I think of is like you have a wound and you just put a Band-Aid on it, but you don't take care of the wound. You don't make sure it's not infected. You don't treat it with the proper things, but you're just putting on a bandage, but you're just bleeding all over the place. And we live life literally bleeding all over people. We bleed on our friends and they don't know why we're snapping at them. We bleed on our family members and our spouses and our relationships because they don't know. We're bleeding on the people in the church and they don't know why we're snapping or why we're ugly some days or why we're nasty to them sometimes or why we don't want to speak because we're bleeding because we haven't had the proper steps of getting that infection taken care of. And that's one of the things that I wanted people to know. It's okay to bleed, but get what you need. Step back when you need to. I would take assignments singing or teaching when I knew I was struggling. And there are times where that is a good thing because a lot of times God was talking to me as I was talking to somebody else. I would tell people in the sermon, like, he is definitely preaching to me. I don't know if I'm talking to you or not, but he's talking to me. But we can't always do that. And not that you have to be perfect. Not that you have to be perfect. Not that you have to, I think that was, for me, my issue. I felt like I had to be perfect to be who he called me to be. And that's not what we're supposed to be. You're just supposed to be you. The only perfect person was him. The power of the cross was him taking on everything, all of our debt, all of our sin, all of our worry, was that he, made us whole through his love, not us making us whole on our own. That's the problem. We trying to do it on our own.
And not just being perfect, trying to be perfect for him, trying to be perfect for people on the outside too. Because I notice a lot of times people are like, "Ooh, girl, you're so strong. Oh, I'm telling you, can just handle this." They don't know. I'm sitting up on my couch curled up at night.
Right.
In my thinking, I'm saying, okay, I'm gonna
choose up to high school.
Well, like you said, I had never heard of that book, but one of my friends was like, when I first started posting videos and doing stuff, and I'm still getting comfortable doing videos. And she was like, you got to do it afraid. And every time I think about something and every time I want to do something and step out of the comfort zone that I've given myself, I think about that. And I say, do it afraid. And one of the books I share about that was an influence, Joyce Myers wrote a book years and years and years ago, Battlefield of the Mind. And I shared this at the book signing too, because somebody was like, what was one of your, influences, books, one of your favorite books that you've read? From a teen, I started reading that book. And then there's actually a children's teen version, too, of the book. And I've read both versions. And the reality is, the gist of all of that is, if it starts in your mind, it affects everything. Once you get control over your thoughts, that's when you're able to succeed and do the things that you're called to do. If we got to shut that up We have to shut that voice up because the voice is us.
It is. It really is. I gave a scenario that's like really real. It was the smallest things you have to see God in. I wrote this on my post. The last week. I dropped Glenn off over near 48th and Vernon. And I still put my GPS on. Waze usually gives me the shortest cuts, how to go and roundabout, cuts. So when I left there, it said, "Oh, you'll get here about 12:15." So it says, "Okay, go up Vernon. When you get to Crenshaw, if you guys can visualize this, make a right." And I'm like, okay. But if I make a right, that's going away from the radio station. This area of what they went through.
Yeah, it's still a stigma.
Yeah,
it's still a stigma.
That you want people to get from your book?
I want you to get that it's okay to be who you are. I want you to get that your story matters. I want you to see the process of me becoming becoming where I am now. I want you to not be afraid. I use a lot of affirmations. Affirmations helped me love me more because, you got to speak it sometimes even before you become it. Mm-hmm. And as I continue to speak it, I shared in the book, there were times where I would always say, I'm always sad, or I'm just this, or I'm this, or I'm that. And you're speaking those things into your life. Whereas why not speak it positively? So I have my bedroom door. I painted it with chalkboard paint, and I have different sayings. I am confident. I am beautiful. I am a visionary. I am a leader. I am loved. I am loving. I am forgiving. And those were things that started helping me become where I am now. Am I still growing? Yep. Am I still getting to some of those that aren't completely perfect? Absolutely. But I want you to see that it's okay to be wonderful and be great, even in the process of becoming who you are. You are flawed, and it's cool. It's cool. I want you to read the book and see that you have a friend out there.
And how can they purchase your book?
You can go on Amazon, or my website, joysimpson.com. J-O-I, yeah. People, I have people tell me, like, that's not how you spell your name. Yes, it is. Your pastor likes to tell the story because he claims he named me. And my other guy mom claims she named. It's just a whole thing. But he says the reason the spelling is J-O-I is because it's the middle of rejoice. So, yeah. So it's J-O-I Simpson. Or you can, I have my Facebook. There's a link in my bio, Joyce Simpson. Or on Instagram. Here, I'll hold this up if you can see that. I don't even know if you can. On Instagram and Beauty Flawed Me.
I don't see her on camera. Let me see.
Oh,
there she is.
There is. Beauty Flawed Me, and you can. That's how you can find the book. The website, if you go to joysimpson.com, you just click get the book, and it'll take you straight to Amazon. And I hope people enjoy it. I hope they love it. I hope they're changed. I hope they're transformed by it. I've had some friends just call and tell me. One of my friends read it the night. She said the night it came out, she read it. She downloaded it on her Kindle, read it that night. She was like, I was trying to go to bed and I just couldn't, and called me the next day and was just like, I knew some of this stuff, but I'm super proud of you. And she's like, I see myself. And I've had so many people tell me that have read it, like, I see myself. And I just want you to know that yourself is cool, and the things that you're going through, you're not alone. And that's what I really hope that people get from it.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for coming and sharing.
Thanks for having me.
Get the book, y'all. Get the book. Don't forget tomorrow, if you're not doing anything, come on down to our Sunday